At the 2020 Auto Expo, there's been a lot of anticipation before the show even started, and some of that has to do with the curiosity around the relatively newer and lesser known brands. Now, MG has been in India for some time, but seriously, there's been so much anticipation around this because don't forget, this is MG Motors' first Auto Expo. So what can you expect from it? And I think a lot of you have even been sort of writing in and asking about what we have been seeing the last couple of days. So we wanted to actually take you for a very exclusive walk around the MG stand. So this is for those of you who can't make it to the expo, but also for those of you who are going to come here so that you know what to look for. Let's go do this. Now, a lot of manufacturers have brought EVs or electric cars to the Auto Expo, but here at MG, it's a whole zone that's dedicated to them. So it's not just the one car, but I will start by talking about the one car, and that is the ZS EV. Now, you've seen the review on our site, you've seen our video as well, so you know what this car is about, and you know that it's already got launched. So for all the skeptics who feel like, you know, it's still too early for EVs, sold out. Yes, it's already sold out for the year, 2,800 bookings under its belt. So is it early days? Sure, but it's something that's gone from being if to just becoming when. The revolution is coming. Now, a lot of people still don't understand how an EV exactly works, and so from the perspective of visitors coming to the expo, this display becomes really important because not only does the screen sort of explain what you're seeing here, but it's the actual cutout as well that shows you the various components that go into the EV part of the car, what makes it electric. And so the battery pack, of course, that sits under the floor, and then even the flow of power, how it works, how it goes to the motor, powers the wheels obviously, and then there's also from the braking, all the recuperated energy that goes back into the battery and stores that regenerated power. And you know, may sound simple to some of the auto enthusiasts who've heard this from us endlessly and seen some of this happening when we drive the electric cars, but again, I think that that's a really smart thing from the point of view of people who are visiting. Now, we showed you the ZS EV, but the other point here that's been talked about endlessly the last few months is that maybe we need to go into electrification of all kinds. So plug-in hybrid, yes, that's another way to go and do this. And what's nice about the eMG6 is that, well, this particular one is also nice and sporty. So I'm kind of eyeing it from a very different eye candy perspective right now and not really its greenness. But you saw the green license plate, which tells you that this car is environmentally friendly. And so, yes, the black alloy wheels, the black finish on the grille, all of that certainly helps, doesn't it? Now, on to the production cars, and including the cars that have been announced for the market, launching right away. Like with any manufacturer at a motor show, sometimes the idea is to flex muscle by also showing off global portfolio strength. And so lots of cars that may not be sort of coming to the market or relevant even, but you know, there are sedans and then there are hatchbacks. In fact, I have to say the MG3 is the right size for India, but no, there are no market announcements with a car like that, nor with even the 360M, and even more compact MPV, really like a perfect rival to something like the Ertiga. The other thing here at the MG stand that you will see if you were to come in, lots of classic cars, because remember the whole British Connect comes from that heritage, and so they're dotted around, so it's not like a separate classic section, it's just a nice homage to that heritage because you see them nice and colorful, pristine condition, all over the place. So it is an outdoorsy theme here on the stand, but of course a very British one. If the Big Ben wasn't enough to convince you of that, you also see a few other little nods to English lifestyle. There are the park benches and the street lights and the bricky walls with the trellis and vines growing on them. So of course all of that has been done to once again connect to that British heritage that MG is so proud of. And it's not just the cars then, isn't it? Lots of graffiti walls as well to add a splash of color, but quintessential telephone booth, of course you've got to have that too, don't you? So coming first to market will be this. Now we've talked about it for some months, we have done a lot of those stories for you on our site, and it's finally a reality. This is called the Hector Plus. And that of course implies to you that it has the 3-row seating, it's the 6-seater, and it takes things up a notch. It's not just about more people space, but it's also a little bit plusher and on the inside and a little bit more high-end on the outside. So it is Hector Plus in every sense of the word. So different headlamp, certainly a different bumper, and everything, like I said, just looks a little bit bigger, meaner, plusher than the regular Hector. But that's not where things are going to stop, because if you think this is big, well, things get even bigger with the Gloster. Now, that's a car that will take on the likes of the Toyota Fortuner or the Ford Endeavour, full-size SUV, and that's coming. But while the Hector Plus will be here in maybe about 6 to 8 weeks' time, the Gloster around the festive season. That's also not where the production models will stop, because there's another car that's being shown that gets a lot of interest because the segment is starting to look pretty hot, and that is the G10, which, well, we don't know if that will get a different name for the Indian market. It might happen because the G10 is its global badge, but the point here is that the MPV space, and especially the premium MPV space, is starting to hot up. The G10 would fit in there. So we expect that it should be launched possibly in early 2021, maybe even sooner. So we've kind of circled around from the production cars back to the other side of that EV zone where we started, and this car is an EV, but that's not the reason why I'm focusing on it. It's got internet inside like many of the other MG cars do, but that's also not why I'm talking about it. The real reason I'm talking about it is that the Marvel X, which started its life as the Vision E concept a couple of years ago, is also now autonomous. So yes, we are far away from autonomous cars driving around on the roads, but it's the level of that capability that this car really talks to. It's level 3 autonomous, which means that it can really take you places you don't necessarily want to drive yourself. As small as it looks from the outside, the E200 is surprisingly roomy on the inside. Look at that headroom, for example. And the model has been designed keeping a lot of flexibility in mind for city use. So this is a 2-seater, but you could also have a 3-seater version, and I'm told you could also adapt it to being a 4-seater, but it's a 3-door car. So lots of little numbers that I've thrown at you. And it can go as fast as 130 kilometers per hour. Now that's something that I have to say surprised me. The other thing that surprised me, not just the palette, pink seat belts too. In all my years of getting in and out of different cars, never seen pink seat belts before. Now the Hector got the tag of being the internet car when it first drove in, and we told you all about those iSmart features. The fact that you can talk to the car as well. Hello MG. Yes, the voice assistant is there, and it uses the eSIM to give you a whole host of those internet features no matter where you are. But why am I talking about it right now? Well, this is the iSmart corner of the stand, and what's different about the car behind me is that it gives you iSmart 2.5. What does that add on? Well, of course, it gives you all of those features that the Hector always had, including over-the-air update, the only one to do it. But it also gives you a conversational feature, so which means you don't just give the usual voice commands to the car. You can actually have banter, conversation, sort of what Siri or Alexa lets you do, but inside the car. So I have to now quickly end this, but I have to show you this car. It's not just because it's orange and it's looking really pretty, but it is the ZS, and you may think, why am I showing you that again? Well, it's not the ZS EV, this is the petrol-powered car. Now, in the Chinese market where it sells, you actually have 2 different engines on it, and that's the reason I'm a little excited about it. Well, the first reason anyway. And there is a 1.5-litre petrol, 4-cylinder, 120 horses, but it's the 1-litre, 3-cylinder turbocharged engine that really interests me because it's different. It gives you about 125 horses, so it's powerful and could really sort of be a very different offering at the entry end of that compact SUV segment. Yes, Creta rival, that's what I'm trying to say with this, and I don't know if MG has any plans to bring it here. This kind of makes sense because the Hector could be the top bookend and this could be the bottom bookend on what's obviously still a very high growth and very exciting segment. And you'll find that here at the Expo. There's lots of SUVs, there's lots of compact SUVs. The new Creta is here too, by the way. So all those details are what you could take in if you were to visit. So take your time. If you're here, take a look at all of these nice shiny cars and some of the limited bikes. But if you're not here, well, don't worry, we've got all of that covered for you then, right here on Car and Bike.